Good evening. We are here tonight talking about a topic which doesn't get introduced very much in our communities. Nowadays, with COVID and so much is going on, the numbers have increased tremendously. And we want to bring awareness to some challenges and potential assistance for victims of domestic violence. So, we're here tonight with this young lady who is certainly an advocate and is passionate about this very topic. She has implemented an organization to help women who find themselves in this predicament. So I introduce to you Kimberly Rones. Hi, Kimberly.
How you doing?
Kimberly is the founder of Annie's House Safe Haven. And Kimberly, we would just want to talk a little bit tonight so that we can share some education and awareness around domestic violence. I realize that that is near and dear to your heart.
Yes, it is.
And certainly we want to hear a little more about it. So, just for starters, tell me a little bit about why you're so passionate about domestic violence and how you became an advocate for it.
Well, first of all, I'm a survivor of domestic violence. It started off when I was younger. I think I was about 11. I'm gonna just go back a little bit so I can be able to let you all know how it really started. Domestic violence started because of a young age with myself. My father rejected me because he was married, and that kind of started that. The rejection started in my life. So when I got older and started dating, just to be accepted by my boyfriend at that time, long as he just gave me attention, that's all I needed. But I felt myself into a place that I shouldn't have been, as far as the arguing and the fighting and the hitting and things in that nature. So that's how domestic violence really started for me. But I'm just here to let you all know that you can recover. So that's why it's so passionate for me, because I found myself on that side.
Wow, amazing. And thank goodness that you survived it and that you're actually able to share your story and help other women that are in this same predicament. So tell me a little bit about Annie's House. How did that come to be?
Annie's house, my mother name was Annie.
Oh,
And when we were little, my mother, our house was like a big mama's house. Everything that you needed, it was at Annie's house. My mother was the police for people. She was a midwife for people. Anything that you needed done, everybody went to Miss Ann's house or Annie's house, and she took in people. It was times that me and my sisters and brother, we'll wake up in the morning and stepping over people because she had been taking people in. She fed people, and that's how Annie's house became my mother.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So tell us a little bit about the percentage of domestic violence cases, how it's on the rise and how it's increased. Time like this when you find, people that are locked in the house together more than they've ever been before. I can imagine that there's more arguments, there's more tension that
Yes.
arises. And so tell me a little bit about how it's growing.
Well, I did a study not too long ago, and I found out that in just from January to September, domestic violence has risen 23.9%. Just from January to September. We're not even talking about anything prior than that. But I found out that domestic violence is been risen and blowing up even before the COVID came around. It just surfaced to the real thing because we have people that's in home. Like you said, that they're at home. There's people that can't get outside because there's a lot of people that has outside activities. We just gonna keep it real this evening, and there's a lot of tension. A lot of people go to work because that's their outlet, and that's why I believe that the percentage has went up a little bit more, because people are not able to get out. They're not able to go to work, to just get away from their significant other, their bruiser, and then they'll have some bruisers that can't get to their other activities. So that's why it's on the rise. I believe so.
So why do you think there's not more education and more awareness and that people aren't talking about it in certain spaces? Like we don't talk about it in our churches, we don't talk about it on our jobs, we don't talk about it in our homes. It's like taboo to talk about domestic violence. How do people find out more about it if nobody's talking about it?
Well, there was this old saying, if you remember, that whatever goes on in this house stays in this house. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't talk about it. But I'm so passionate about it because, like as I stated, I'm a survivor, and not just last month. I had a coworker that was killed doing domestic violence. Not only that, but in May of this year, I had another coworker. The husband had shot her 3 times. And you say, well, why we don't talk about it? Because everybody that what you talk about, you don't talk about. In the homes you have wives that's scared to talk about what's going on, because guess what, their husband is the breadwinner. He's the one being the survivor. So that's domestic violence right there, what you when you call financial abuse. A lot of people think just because he's not hitting me, I'm not in an abusive relationship or a marriage. But there's different kinds of abuse. There's mental abuse that will play in your mind. That's physical abuse that will hit you. That's emotional abuse that have you all your emotions just all rolling all over the place. And then there's financial abuse. So there's a lot of abuse that's going on, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it because what we say, the taboo again, what goes on in this house stays in this house. But I come to realize, like Maria said, whatever goes in this house, if it's hurting me, I'm going to tell somebody. And I think that's what we need to do. And that's what Any House comes into play. That we want to be able to let people know that there's some way that you can come. There's a safe place. I have this 3 R's that I do for Any House. And our motto is refuge, rest, and restoration. And that's what we're talking about tonight.
Okay. I love it. The 3 R's. I love it. So tell me this. If we realize that maybe our neighbor is being abused, there's violence in the home, or there's domestic violence that exists and we know about it, what should we do? What should we do as a part of the community if we know that it exists? How do we help people?
No, first of all, let's stop here for a minute, because a lot of people, they think that, well, what is she doing in there anyway? She needs to leave, but it's mentally. But when you have someone, like you said, your neighbors, there's places that you can call. You can call the police, because there's a place, that a number that you can call for the police, that you can be anonymous. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your address or anything. You can just report it. And a lot of people don't know that you can report things without people knowing that you're who you are. But we suggest that if you know that, please do not approach the victim. Please don't, because when you're having a domestic violence relationship or marriage, the abuser, he knows your move, he knows what you're thinking, he knows what you're saying, he knows your gesture, everything. So what we should suggest is call the police. You can call the police and let them know. They don't even have to know your name, your number, none of that. And that's a lot of things that people don't know.
That's good. That's good information.
Once again, Annie's House. You can call Annie's House. You can call Harbor House. There are so many places that you can call. There's so many outlets.
Okay.
So many.
So if there's one thing that you wanted to educate people on, if there's one thing that's most important that you want people who are watching this interview to take away, to know about domestic violence, what would it be?
The one thing I would want them to know is there is life after domestic violence. There is a place that you can restore yourself. There is a place that you can come and be able to be restored. As I said, Annie's House. That's what I want people to be able to know, that if you're older, you don't have to stay in it. If you're younger, you don't have to go through it. And that's what I want to leave with people. There is help out there. You just have to make a phone call.
And so, how do people call Annie's House? How do they get in touch with you?
We have a website. We also have a Facebook page. We have a phone number. And what else? We have Facebook page, a phone number.
And all of that information would
All
be
that
in
information
the
is
bottom
in
of this
itself.
interview.
We have people that you can call. We partner with Harbor House, that they can call them, and if they need to have someone to come pick them up. We also offer clothing, shelter, things in that nature. So that's what we're looking for. We just want someone to know that there's someone out there that cares about you and want to see you happy and safe.
And someone
That's what we wanna
who
do.
has been through it. This is not like somebody who's just talking about it to be
No.
talking about it, but you have lived through this. You have survived it. You're now able to tell women, this is what you need to do. This is how you do it. This is how you become an overcomer in this space. And so, what better person to reach out to than somebody that's actually been through this? Now, do you find that there are more younger women that experience this, that maybe aren't in a marriage and maybe it's a dating relationship? Do you find that more than you do marriage?
I have found that there's a lot of young ladies at this time that they don't even know, they're not even educated to know that they are in an abusive relationship. They don't know that if a person call your phone, where you at, where you been, how long you gonna move, that's control. That's a form of domestic violence. And I believe they not educated. They just, he just cares about me. No, that's controlling, sweetheart. And what one thing leads to another. So I think there's a lot of young people that has experienced relationship that's in domestic violence that they don't even know they're in. There is also relationships with the people that's, I'm trying to get the name of it, that's gay or in that kind of relationship. I found out doing research that people that's in gay relationship, 4 out of 5 relationships, 3 of them are in domestic violence.
Wow. Wow. And so, what are some of the things, you were beginning to touch on this, what are some of the things that people should look out for? So, because they're not educated and because they don't really know that they're in that type of relationship, what are just some things that you can think of that people should look out for in relationships that really determines this is domestic violence? What are some things?
As I was stating, checking your phone. You have to know exactly where you at all times. That's another red flag. That they have mood swings. 1 minute they good, the next minute they cussing you out or whatever, and that may be, that's another red flag. Another red flag that can be that their background. That you have to, what I tell young ladies, look how they treat their mother. Look how their family is raised. And a lot of people, that will be one. There's some of those signs. There's just some red flags. There's some things that you will just look out for. Me being who I was, at a young age, didn't know that money and material things that lure you in. They'll buy you this, they'll buy you that, and the next thing they know, you have to jump to their music. So those are just some of the things that I would say that they look out for. Just your awareness, and always be kind to yourself. Know who you are before you get caught up into these relationships. Find out who you are first. That's one of the things. Find out who you are. Because people will have you to think that you're supposed to be this way or that way. And then they will mold you into what they will have you to be. And before you know it, you don't even know who you are. You don't even know what you're like.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So I like this dialogue. And are you committed to keeping the conversation going? Are you going to have some upcoming talks that maybe you can continue to educate people on this topic?
Next month I will be talking on a live also about relationships. I also will be doing a test and tea. That means just talking to people. I'm doing also a rummy sale for women that needs to come in, just don't have any clothes. They're just free. I have a young lady that will be doing young ladies' hair that maybe need their hair done. So I'm doing a lot of things, researching and doing some outreach things. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, and so if people want to help, like people that are professionals that want to help do
Yes.
hair or that want to give clothes and want to
Yes.
donate, how do they provide you with
Only
that?
thing they have to do is call Annie's house. Annie House has a phone number. I'll probably be able to put that on before we leave. Website, email, whatever. We're taking whatever you need. We also dealing with children because children are affected. I didn't even get to that point to say that by me being in a relationship that was abusive, a marriage, my son, my youngest son, ended up being in an abusive relationship. His girlfriend abused him. So people, they don't understand that the effects of what domestic violence bring, So I just want to be able to educate not only the young women, but there's a lot of older women that because they don't know where to go. They don't have nowhere to go. They've been in it so long. So I'm here to help everybody. As I stated, my 3 R's. I want to give you restoration, I want to give you rest, and I want to give you refuge. Because when you leave Annie's house, that's what you'll be able to do.
That's great. That's great. And that's a great way for us to end this conversation is that the 3 R's can certainly help revitalize some women, that potentially may not have known before this conversation where they could go to get help. And
Yes.
so as you close out, whatever you want to share with the people and tell them, share some closing remarks with us. This has been amazing.
I just want to let people know that you are able to survive. And there's one thing that I got a quote from. You can't conquer nothing that you don't confront. And you can't heal from nothing that you hide. So on tonight, this is your opening day. And I want you all to be blessed and let people let you all know that there is someone out there that cares about you and love you.
Thank you so much. Again, that is Kimberly Rones, founder of Annie's House Safe Haven. You can find the information embedded in the body of this live feed. Thank you so much, Kimberly.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.